Did anyone see the final press conference between Anthony Joshua and Malcolm X? Joseph Parker. I think this fight will be okay. I think it's going to be good early on. Joseph Parker will have the hand speed and footwork advantage. He has fast hands and got some good power. And if you look at the pictures on the screen right about now, Joseph Parker, the guy looks like Louis Farrakhan with Malcolm X glasses on. And I think AJ in this fight will have to make adjustments to the speed of Farrakhan. The speed of Malcolm X. The speed of Joseph Parker, and the way that he'll be able to slow Parker down, because I think Parker's gonna make it very interesting early on, is with the jab. I think AJ's jab can disrupt the speed of Parker, but I like the jab to the body as much as the jab to the head in this one. One thing about Parker is no matter how much he moves or how fast he is, he can be hit. On the flip side, AJ isn't exactly the best at getting out of the way of that right hand either. You can get him with it. You can get him with the left hook also, as he opens up and throws punches. So that's something that he needs to be concerned with, and something that you need to look for in the fight. I think as AJ grows as a fighter, he will realize that he's maybe a better counter puncher than a walk you down puncher. People probably don't see that with him, but I do. And the key for Joshua, outside of maybe or the key for Parker to beat Joshua, outside of maybe a shaky chin that AJ's had in the past, is stamina. For AJ, I like to see him do what Klitschko did in their fight, and it's get rid of the bulk in favor of the lean muscle. I don't know if he knows how, but if you look at the I looked at him at the press conference, and I'm like, something's different. And then when what we saw was I think he came in, I can't remember, was it 12 pounds lighter than his last fight? So he's certainly in shape. Don't know if it's too much shape where sometimes you leave it in the gym, but so we'll see. We will see. I don't usually watch a lot of videos, like boxing videos, but I have been the past week, and I see a lot of people, some people taking Parker, but I see a lot of people considering Parker a live dog. And I think Parker's a live dog too, for about 3 or 4 rounds. And then I think AJ will get his timing down. And I actually expect AJ to put on a show. Now, if you're going to get AJ, it'll be between the end of the 4th round until like the beginning of the 8th. He's been known to gas a little bit in fights. And Parker, if it goes that far, will pick up the pace right around then if he's intelligent, if he's smart. And Parker has been known to really pick up the pace in championship rounds. If it goes that late, I expect Parker to build on his confidence that he had in the middle rounds and really begin to go for it. And that, my friends, is when I expect AJ to catch him and hurt him. Joseph Parker, just like his countryman David Tua, has a rock solid chin. He's never really been hurt. And but I think a fire is burning in AJ right now, and he wants to prove something after Deontay Wilder beat Louis Ortiz and send a message to the millions who'll be watching. And speaking of watching, if Deontay Wilder doesn't go to the UK, as he said if he doesn't go to the UK, which he said he wasn't going to do, to call the fight, he's a fool. In Wilder's case, not only are you getting a paycheck, but you're getting free publicity. And Wilder needs it more than AJ, who'll be fighting in front of nearly 80,000 fans once again. Anthony Joshua doesn't need Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder needs Anthony Joshua. I don't care what people say. This kid can stay in the UK and fight for 5 more years. And I'm telling you, this guy's going to be a billionaire one day. He's going to be a billionaire. I mean, are you getting $20 million for fighting Carlos Takam? And he's actually getting less in this fight for fighting Louis Farrakhan. Excuse me, not Malcolm X. Joseph Parker. He's getting about 18,900,000 something, which is less. But you got to understand, even though he got more for fighting Carlos Takam, and this is bigger stakes for this fight. There's a belt that Parker has, as well as it's just a bigger matchup. You had to pay Parker, and Parker didn't want to sign until they came to terms that were acceptable, which means AJ had to take a little bit of a pay cut up front as far as his guarantee in order to pay Parker. Now, he'll probably wind up making more than he made. No, he will make more than he made on the back end for Takam. But so if people want to throw out, well, how come your boy only making $18 million when he made over 20 for Takam? Well, my boy, huh? Well, you do realize that Wilder made $2 million for the first time in his career fighting Louis Ortiz. So there you go. So in Wilder's case, you got free advertising and a paycheck, and you're not going over there because they don't want to do a WWE face-off. Dante, you better not ever talk about not being properly paid and receiving slave wages or whatever it was you said when you make mistakes like this. Deontay Wilder is being improperly advised. It's just incorrectly advised. Let me talk about Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. So it's looking very bleak, right, guys? There was a temporary suspension until April 10th, where a hearing would take place, and then a 5-member portion of a panel from the Nevada State Athletic Commission or Nevada Athletic Commission, take your pick. People are calling them both right now. The NCAC, as we've always known it, and now the NAC, which some people are calling it. They had a temporary, so you had your temporary suspension, whatever the heck that means, and then you were going to go ahead and temporary suspension, and then you're going to go ahead and have the hearing and then the vote. Well, that suspension has been moved back a little over a week. I think it's April 18th now, which is 2 weeks from the event. Vegas, the Athletic Commission is just going to have it during its regular monthly meeting. And so you're asking yourself, well, what's going on? Fathom Events, the tickets, where they sell the tickets for the movie theaters to watch the fight, they've taken that purchase section off of their website, which is pretty much tells you what you need to know. They're now offering full refunds for those who purchase tickets to go to the fight. Not to mention, when they showed the HBO schedule during the Dillian White versus Lucas Brown fight, they didn't have the pay-per-view listed on their upcoming schedule, and then ESPN didn't mention it. And so when you put some space between this and you temporarily suspend a guy, I think until April 10th/18th for a May 5th fight, I think the writing's on the wall. When this story first broke, I said, they're going to get this guy. And the rest of the world said, nah, this is boxing, nothing's going to happen. Then you got even Dan Rafael and a bunch of California and Las Vegas writers whose names will go unmentioned, saying that the fight is in serious jeopardy. Now the world agrees with them, which is what I initially said. But you know what? Then I went in the other direction. I think I mentioned it in the last video. Now I was saying, oh nah, I think the fight's on. And my reasoning, here's why. By April, people would have already been in too deep with their travel commitments and their purchases and the like. So of course money is the thing, especially that weekend in Vegas. They don't want to take that hit. Then you have Golovkin not only becoming something he isn't by talking tough outside of the ring and slinging accusations at Alvarez and De La Hoya, but then he says, hey, I'm going to fight May 5th anyway, and in Vegas, whether it's Canelo or not. Stop. I mean, he talked about needle marks in Canelo's arms and stomach and illegal hand wrapping. I mean, it's like a total 180 of how Golovkin is. And my thinking was, this is just adding to the story. However, by saying he's going to fight Canelo or whoever else in Vegas, it gave the Nevada State Athletic Commission all the reason it needs to keep it business as usual. As I stated, someone will show up with a brown paper bag outside of Bob Bennett's office, and the party will be on. I mean, too many people have already been paid for their services. And then Dan Rafael, Ring Magazine, Golden Boy, ESPN, HBO, all talking about this fight is in big jeopardy. And that was my initial thinking. Then it's like this was a swindle move. It was a sham. You know, why would you allow each guy to keep training if this fight wasn't moving forward? Then when the Nevada State Athletic Commission filed a complaint against Canelo, and then this movie theater stuff happened and all this other jazz, and fight ESPN, so on and so forth, all that stuff happened. I'm like, okay, maybe this thing is over and done with. But is it? And I know what everybody's saying, but is it? Because if Golovkin would have said, I'm walking, I'm out of here, I'm calling up Billy Joe Saunders or whoever else, then I think the fight would have been in jeopardy. But he says, I'm fighting. And that's all you need to know about how this is going to go. That was my initial thought. So what changed? I mean, the WBC was all of a sudden on board with Alvarez after not liking him not liking them. The WBA, which also has no reason to chime in at this point, starts saying he's innocent too. So both commissions, I mean both sanctioning bodies pretty much said he's innocent. And I'm like, well, so what's going on? I mean, does it matter if the clenbuterol in his system was at the nanogram level instead of the picogram level? I mean, the commission is running this under the pretext of, we conducted a full analysis of what is going on, and after all the testimony and stringent tests after February such and such, he's come up clean. That's what you thought until earlier this week. And that's my thinking was, okay, he's the Vegas cash cow right now, and if you double cross Canelo, maybe, just maybe, he walks and he starts to fight in Jerryland for the rest of his career. That's Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, folks. Jerryland. So, what happens? Well, before this week, I thought in 4 weeks, everybody will go from, I'm no longer interested in this fight, to, man, I need to watch this fight. I need to see, A, how Canelo's physique looks without the stuff in his system, or B, can Triple G knock this guy out, or C, will Canelo knock G out, or D, will Canelo fight the same now that he's been thoroughly tested? Well, the answer to letter D is he'll fight the same. What people are missing is that clenbuterol and the drugs you take with it are cycled off right around the time Canelo got caught. He just probably didn't get it out of his system in enough time. So even if he's passing his test now, he ordinarily would have, because he would have cycled off of this stuff. So all this stuff about Golden Boy and ESPN not showing their ads and HBO not talking about the fight, initially it was all part of the game. Everyone from the networks, ESPN and HBO, to the reporters, to the movie theaters, making it seem like this won't happen. And my thinking up until a week ago was, anyone who doubts Canelo, Triple G2, anybody who doubted it, well, hey, whatever. So Rafael went on to say, anyone who doubts Canelo Triple G2 is in legitimate serious jeopardy of being canceled due to Canelo's 2 failed PED tests, I offer just one exhibit. HBO didn't use its Saturday fight telecast to promote the pay-per-view and left it off its upcoming calendar of events. This is serious, folks. And they added, based on my reading of the rules and conversations I've had, I do not think there's any way the commission can allow him to fight May 5th, unless Alvarez can provide proof that his food and drink was purposely spiked with the banned substance. The story also included the statement, people don't refund tickets for a fight they believe will happen. And those are all good points. But remember, Golden Boy Promotions has a deal with ESPN, the company Dan Rafael works for. Also, the representative at the WADA lab said the values are all within the range of what is expected from meat contamination. You think he's not going to testify at the hearing? I mean, does his opinion count? I say yes. Always thought this was a sham to show the world that boxing cares about PEDs. When actually behind the scenes it doesn't. So that when he gets exonerated on April 10th or April 18th, he'll look even more like a hero. Then we'll have a real press conference and a real weigh-in, because you ain't gonna get no smiling Triple G and all the friendliness between fighters and the love fest and the handshaking and all that other stuff that you did in the first fight. Well, yes, it does look like this is going to be canceled. But what if this is all just a perception is reality? Like, let's really make it seem like we're really going to seriously battle this. I hope they televise this hearing so you guys can watch the circus. As I stated earlier, a doctor you've never heard of or will never see again will testify on Canelo's behalf. Some meat market or restaurant representative will affirm that Canelo ate there and maybe they were temporarily suspended because of the meat problem. Around the same time Canelo ate there, that's when the clenbuterol was there. But the restaurant no longer has the problem, and Canelo ate there afterwards, and he's been clean. What do you guys think? What do you think about the Joshua versus Parker? And what do you think about how this hearing is going to go? I'll see you guys in Vegas, May 5th.